Hey, hello and welcome to yet another Divi tutorial by the team here at Divi Engine. You know me, this is Roby, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use the Divi theme builder to display and style your custom post type templates using our recipe custom post type we created in a previous tutorial. Now don't stress, you can follow along this process to style any custom post type that you added to Divi in the past. So let's roll. Okay team, so let's quickly recap what we've been working on so far. Now, previously we added this custom post type recipes where when I click into it, you can see that we've got one beefcake recipe in there. We're going to take that a little bit further today. But also what we did is we added the advanced custom fields plugin to give a little bit more depth to these custom post types of recipe, to add things like the ingredients, the time to cook, and we're going to take that even a little bit further today. And you'll see what we're up to by adding some steps. And then you get to the impetus of this and you decide, okay, well, now I need to show this to my users. How do I go about doing that? Well, good for you. Divi has the Divi theme builder built into it. And what that does, it allows you to not only build awesome headers or footers or other types of templates, it also allows you to go ahead and build out templates for your custom post types. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. So for those of you that have not yet followed along and want to be up to speed with what we're doing here, check the link on the screen or in the description of this video where we cover all the other things we've been up to. But if you're just here for the meat and potatoes, definitely just skip to the chapter below where we start talking about using the Divi theme builder. So guys, let's get into it. Okay guys, so like I mentioned, we're going to be adding some new fields here to represent the different steps in our recipe, and I'm going to be showing you a really cool thing we'll do with that later on in the tutorial. But first things first, let's head over here to the custom fields and field groups. We'll add a new field group, and this will just be called steps. Well, actually, I'm just going to call it step 1. Now, we want to make sure that this only pertains to the recipe field or the recipe post type. And the reason why I kind of started there with the step 1 titling of this is because if you have Advanced Custom Fields Pro, you can use a repeater field group here. But instead, what we're going to do, we're going to keep it nice and free. So I'm going to show you how to add 2 steps here just to demonstrate. But you'll get the idea of how all of this works. So first thing we want to do, we're going to want to give the step a title. So we'll just say title. And then the field name will be derived from that. You can make it unique, whatever you want to do. Next up, it's just going to be text. That's great. It's not a text area. We don't want that too long. Then we'll say, give your step title. And maybe we'll just change this to step title. That's maybe a little bit more accurate here. If I delete that out, it'll regenerate. There you go. That field name for us. So we're going to make that required. Well, we won't actually make that required because what if there are no steps involved? They get everything in there. So we'll leave all the placeholder stuff blank, the conditional logic, all that we're not going to need in here. And that's basically that. So for the next one, we're going to add another field. And this one, we'll go ahead and make the step content. And that'll generate that one. And this one will be a text area because maybe you want to add a little bit more information there. So we'll just say describe the step. Great, great, great. Again, we're not going to mess with the other stuff. And then lastly, if this step has an image, we want it to be included. So I'm going to say add field, step image. Because maybe you want to show some cracked eggs or whatever the case might be. That's up to you. And of course, for field type, we want to say that this is a image field and then say upload the step image. There you go. And that is going to be pretty much it. We've already made sure that it's only going to be showing on the recipe post type. And we have it active. We're not going to mess around too much with all the other things in here. We cover a bit more of the information there in the previous videos that we did on custom post types. So I'm just going to go ahead and publish that. Great. So now we have everything in there. Looks good. We're just confirming that everything is in order and that it looks right. I'm happy with that. I'm clicking back here to the field groups and I'm going to duplicate our group here. I'm going to edit it, And you'll see why, because I am just going to call this step 2 now. And now I've got a step 2 group, and all the other settings will be as is. One thing that we want to make sure that we take note of here, and you're going to see later why, is the step title name here. Don't worry about it too much right now, but just note, make a little bit of a note in the back of your head that Roby mentioned this. So I'm going to update this, and then we're going to continue the tutorial in a second. Okay guys, so to continue on here, we're going to go back to our recipe custom post type and click in there. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to go ahead and delete beefcake. Bam, it's gone. Now let's add a new recipe, and we'll say new beefcake. Why not? And what I will do also, I'm going to open up another tab here. And in this tab, I'm going to go ahead and generate some dummy text. You, of course, will probably want to add the steps if this is your real website. I'll just copy some of this lorem ipsum text, and I will come back here, my recipe. So I'm just putting that text in there. That's going to be my dummy intro to my recipe. Again, I will use my featured image here of my little trays. I'll put my recipe having a bunch of these ingredients, so maybe not chicken, garlic, pepper, olive oil, great. And then my to cook time is going to be 60 minutes, whatever. And now we see step 1 and step 2. That's why I wanted to show you guys this. And we will just put in step title is going to be step 1. Now you can do anything you want here. That's up to you. And I'm just going to paste that dummy text again. And now I want to add an image for my step. And I'm going to select this cake, because who doesn't like cake with a beefcake, right? So select that, and that is in there now. You see how easy that was? And I'm going to go and put step 2. And I'm going to go ahead and put the content again. It's going to be the fake content. And, you know, this is not going to really make sense, but I'm going to use our logo just to put in there, just to represent the different steps. And then that will be that. I'm going to publish my recipe. It is published, and we can go see how wonderful that looks at the moment by clicking right here. There's our recipe, and you see that it doesn't really have all the content in there because we've got custom fields in there. And that is what we will be covering a little bit later. But let's quickly finish adding some more recipes. I think we need at least one more. Unfortunately, you don't have the duplicate option here, so we have to do this manually. And we will just say chicken cake. Why not? And paste the dummy content that I have on my clipboard still. Oh, I realized that I did not give these some categories. I'll add a new category here. I'll put in chicken. That's good. Add the category. Great. We have it selected. And I'll have to go back, of course, now and go fix that other one. And we just added some ingredients here. And then time to cook. We'll give chicken 45 minutes. And here what I'm going to do, and this is what I want to show you. I'm going to put step 1. I'll put my text. I'm going to select an image. It's going to be
one eternity later.
This one, this time. Just so that we're showing different pictures at different times. I'll add my image for the recipe, which is that one. And we will not be putting text in step 2, but don't you worry, I'm going to show you why later. So for that, we'll just hit publish. There we go. And let me just quickly fix that beefcake, the new beefcake, and just make sure that we have the beef category selected and update that real quick. There we go. And that's all we need to do. And next up, we're getting into the theme builder to show you how to go ahead and display these and build templates for them. So hold on tight. We're getting busy. Alrighty, so now what we got to do is we're going to build that template to show each single recipe. So it's going to be a single page template. To do that, what we're going to do is we're going to head over here to Divi and then the theme builder. Once in here, I'm going to add a new template. You saw this page earlier. And what we're going to do is we scroll down until we see recipes. And then what we do is we're going to select all recipes. That's going to target all the single pages for the recipes. And we're going to click Create Template. That creates our template, and you can add even a custom header for this template, but we want to focus on the body because we want to display the content right on that page. So we're going to click on that. We're going to say Build Custom Body. And there it is. Now for this, I like to utilize the module view. So, you can do whatever you want here, but I'm just going to run through my process. So firstly, I'm going to go ahead and put a single row in there. Now, the first thing I'm going to want to do is go ahead and display the title of the post. So I might just type in title, and that'll pull the post title. Now, you can go ahead and style this, by the way. Like if I go back here, you'll see that it'll already pull in the featured image and all that fun stuff. That's great. And you can go ahead, just as normal, you can style the title. Now, this is not a styling course. This is just a functional course to teach you how to build these templates. Now, alternatively, what you could do is you can also just go here and type in text. And then we can use a dynamic field. So if I delete that placeholder text out, I click on this, I can just go back and I can say post title if I just wanted the title displayed. Now, then you can do that. So the alternative is if you want to show the image differently, you can go ahead and edit this and, take the elements on and off and all that fun stuff. You can remove the meta, add the meta back in. Just a lot of different things you can do. But we're just going to go focus on getting the content on the page. So next up, we want to put the post content. So we'll go type in CONT and then click on post content. That's going to be adding all the text and stuff that is involved. So let's just quickly save this because I do want to quickly show you something. I'm going to go ahead and save it. Now, what's important here, when you just added a new template, you need to save it here on the theme builder page as well. So if I come back here to Beefcake and I refresh the page, you'll see that a lot of the similar information's here. We've got our post content down here that pulled in nicely, title, who made it, all that fun stuff. But we're missing that extra metadata that we added with those advanced custom fields using that plugin. We're also missing the steps, right? So let me show you how we add that in there. So I come back here to the theme builder. I go to custom body. I'll think about it. And for simplicity's sake, again, I am just going to use the module view here. And then maybe what I want to add is a 2-column row. And what I'm going to do is add those 2 little pieces of metadata at the top of our page. So I'll drag that up there. I'll add a text module. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to play with the metadata or the dynamic content again. When I click on the dynamic content button, I get to scroll down. And right here, I get to select the time to cook. And then I can just say time to cook, colons, and a space maybe. And then for after, we'll add minutes, right? That makes sense. And then maybe what we'll do here is we will again use the text module. And we need to pull in those ingredients, right? So let's go dynamic content. We go back to ACF again. We've got time to cook right down here. And then we'll say ingredients, colon, space, and just go ahead and save that. Let's save the page. And now because we already saved the template, we don't need to go back to the theme builder and save it. I'll just refresh this. Now we've got time to cook, ingredients. I think I made a mistake there with that. Let me just quickly go back to dynamic content. I'll just click it again. Scroll down to ACF. I've got my ingredients. I made sure. Okay, I've got ingredients. Ingredients, colon, space. Save that. Save it again. Now I've got all my ingredients on there. Now we've got that extra metadata on the page. Now it's maybe not in the best spot. I'll drag it down to below the image. But you get the idea of what we can do here. Okay, guys, so to show the steps that we added at the bottom, we'll add one of them here. So I'm going to go ahead and say new row. And maybe what I'll do is I'm going to put text here, of course, and then we'll add the dynamic field. And we scroll down, we see that ACF step. I know it says 2 here, but yours will say whatever yours says. I'm going to put the step title, and I don't really need to put anything in there. I'm just going to go ahead and check that box. And then, maybe what we'll do is we'll just give it a nice bold, ultra bold, or whatever. And maybe we'll make it 24. And let's quickly save that. It's saved. And then on the front end, got our beefcake. And there we go. It's got the step listed. That's pretty cool stuff. And let me even go further. Okay, so back in the back end here, let's go add the image for our step. So we're going to pull in an image, dynamic content again, as you guessed, and we can go select that image. It'll load up, but don't worry about it. It's not going to pull in the image. You won't see it here. And then one more field we want to add, of course, is that step content. So that's another text field. And if I go down here, we take the step content. We don't need to put anything in there. And let's save it all up again. And then we'll go to the front end and take a look at what that looks like. And there we go. So now this is the Divi Engine logo, but whatever image you put for that step will be pulled in here. So you can see how this makes it very easy to show that single recipe on the front end of your site. It's really cool. It's really easy to do. And I hope that this kind of gave you the background on how you do that. You might have a step that doesn't have an image or doesn't have a title. Maybe you don't have a lot of steps in your recipe and you don't want those steps to display if there's nothing in there. Now for that, we're going to use conditional logic, and then we're going to show you how to do that here in the next portion of the tutorial. Okay, so we're going to add some conditional logic to skip steps that don't have any content, because it'd be silly to display a bunch of stuff or try to display a bunch of stuff on the screen. And let me show you how easy that is to do. Now, the way we do this is you might have a few different rows here for each of the steps. Now, the rows should all have some conditional logic on them. I'll show this on here on the one row on how to do that, but you'll replicate that on each one for each of the steps if that's something that you have on your site. So I'm going to go to the row settings. I'll go to advanced here, and here in conditions, we're going to add a new condition. So I'm going to click on that. What we need to do is select custom field, and then it's got the manual custom field name. Now, I told you guys earlier that you need to remember that field ID. And the one that we're going to be looking at here is if we go here on step 2, since that's the one that we've been playing with, we want to make sure that if step title has nothing in it, we're not going to display that step. So I copied my step title here. I come back to my theme builder, paste it in my step title here because that's what it's referencing. That's the field it's looking at. And we want to say that if it has any value, just to make sure that if there's anything in there, then it's going to display. So we want to make sure that the condition says enabled, and maybe we'll say step has value as the admin name, just so we know what it is. So when I click it, it says step has any value. It describes the condition. And this just helps when you have more than one condition in there. Now, if I save that and I hit save here, go to the front end, reload the page. And of course, it's going to have it in there because there is a step value on Beefcake for that. But let's go quickly back to that Beefcake recipe. If I go edit here, and let's say, let me delete out this step value. And I just took that title out, right? I just took the first thing out. I delete that out. And I'm going to go ahead and update it. And let's go view it again. We go down, but now the step's gone because that step doesn't have a title in it. It's because of this conditional logic that we just added. So that's a very powerful tool for you to use if you have some complex custom post types that you want to show in a certain way. So I hope that is helpful to you guys. And the last thing we're going to be looking at is the archive pages. So let's go take a look at that. Okay, so now we're going to build that archive page. And basically what that means is it's going to be a page that lists all of your recipes that you've added to your site. Now use some imagination here. Maybe you've got 50, 100, or like we do, 2 recipes. Let me show you how to do that. Now, there's obviously a few different ways to do it, but I find the easiest, best way with intent is to go ahead and add a new page. So we're going to go pages, add new. And then what we're going to say here is we'll give it a title and we'll just say recipe index. Why not? And we'll activate the Divi builder on it. Okay, so it's going to load. We'll build from scratch and we will add a single column row. Now, what we can do here, and maybe what I'll do is close that, and we'll enter the visual builder. And first thing is maybe just put a title. So let's just go text, and we'll just say recipes. We can go ahead and give that text some flair. I'm going to snap this into the side. And again, I'm not trying to win any design awards. I'm just showing a proof of concept to you guys here. So there you go. There's your recipes. And next module that we need to add, oops, I don't want to go into settings, is if it lets me. It's not wanting to let me, but anyway, maybe we should have a new row for that anyway. We'll go ahead and type in blog. And I know this is counterintuitive. Oh, you're using a blog, but you'll see in a second. We click into that, and then you've got the different post types you can select. And when you expand that, your recipes custom post type is in there. So let's select that. And we don't necessarily love this display. When you go to design, you can go ahead and select layout, and you can go select the grid layout. And bam, okay, this looks pretty good already out of the box. Now you can go ahead and stylize the borders and some of the other stuff on there. Maybe you don't want the author to show, or the date to show in the metadata for this post, but that's how you can go ahead and change all this stuff up. You can even say, well, let's add a read more button so we're not spilling all the beans immediately. And it just gives you a pretty clean layout, I'd say, for your recipes. And that was so super simple. You didn't even really need to think about it to go ahead and build this. Now, obviously, this is super ugly. I'm happy about it, but it showed you how to do this. So we covered all these different things. But first, let me publish this page. And I just want to show you that it actually is functioning. So I click on view page here. And here, when I click on the recipe, guess what? We've got our layout right in there from what we built earlier in the Divi theme builder. Pretty amazing stuff, man. I hope you guys found this super easy to do. And there you go, guys. That was it. You just used the Divi theme builder to go ahead and build a template for your custom post type. That's so amazing, man. I really hope that this was useful to you. Now, if you want to learn how to add custom post types and advanced custom fields and all this crazy stuff that we kind of reference in this video, definitely check out the other videos that are linked in this description of this video. I'll probably add them at the end card for this video as well. Definitely, guys, like and subscribe the page if you like this type of content, and submit any type of suggestions you guys have for us in relation to content that you'd like to see. Now, also upcoming is a method on how you can simplify this and add a ton of new features to your custom post types and advanced custom fields in Divi. So definitely check out the next video. So with that, guys, this has been Roby with the Divi Engine team. I'm going to catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.